This is the magicwordpodcast.com.
We are on the fourth and final day of the 85th Abbott's get-together, and we are in
where you were.
I was. I'm just about to say we're going to Las Vegas here. I just came from New Orleans. I kind of forget from when I wake up from day to day where I am or where I'm going or what I'm doing or who I'm with. I'm glad people wear name tags. Goodness sakes. We just finished a lecture then by Guy Hollingworth. I had heard this before when he was guest of honor at the Magi Fest, and it was excellent. A lot of really great tips, even if you don't do the routines exactly. The things that he talks about are just really on target. A lot of things happening throughout the whole village of Colon. I was a little bit late getting here. Again, I'd already heard part of this, or the lecture before, but I was down having a little breakfast at Dawn's Cafe and with Lance here.
That's
right.
So we were. So I was a little late too.
And then I went over to the village market. They had a bunch of tents set up. It was kind of a bazaar that they had a arts and crafts festival that was going over by the library, and the library is selling books and everything then too. Gosh, just so much stuff that's going on all around here. And the voice you just heard then a minute ago, I mentioned yesterday morning we started off day 3 by talking with Lance Burton, and now we're talking with the other Lance. Here's Lance Rich right now. Hey, Lance.
Hello, Scott.
We have been spending some time together with dinner last night, breakfast
I sat
in the morning.
next to you at dinner last night at the Amish dinner. That was a lot of fun.
That was a lot of fun. So good.
That was my first time going to one of the Amish dinners.
What did you think? What was your experience?
Oh, it was great. I mean, I enjoyed the food. I mean,
Sure.
and it's a kind of a unique experience and everything. But it's really charming. You know, after the plates were cleared, a group of performers, got together and put on a little show for the Amish family who cooked for us. Basically, we performed for our supper.
More or less, that's true. In years past, Michael Mode has put together something like this, and there's a family, Merle, I've forgotten Merle's last name, but he's a co-owner of what they call the Amish Costco, which is in Shipshewana, and we usually go over for dinner there at the I think it's called the Blue Gate restaurant. It's really good, Amish food, and then we go over there and we do a show, and all the kids sit out on the porch, and it was more of a formal kind of a thing. And then they gave everybody buggy rides and everything. But Merle had something going on, I guess, this year, so we didn't get to do that. But we had something else at Rosie's, and that was really a lot of fun.
It was great, yeah.
And Magic was kind of an impromptu kind of a thing.
I ate way too much.
And, well, you were sitting next to me, and I was trying to keep up with you, but you're so skinny, you have a lot more room to put it. And you're still a growing young lad.
Well, I don't know.
If you eat as much as that, you can draw.
I had a run and a swim yesterday, so I guess that sort of negates some of it, right?
But it was really good, yes, absolutely. And it was fun last night, and then we had a show that was
an amazing show,
second to none. And I tell you, it is something that I hope that we get to see again. In fact, I talked to Mike Miller, who is in hopes of producing the show again at a later convention sometime. Not just last night's show, but I'm looking forward to tonight's show as well for Latin Americans. But last night it was the Japanese show. Mm-hmm. Unbelievable. Go ahead and let's give us a little rundown here.
Well, it was a great show. It was several acts who I haven't seen before. There were many silent acts, one talking act, a close-up magician Shimpei, I think was his name, and that was some really amazing stuff. They had a screen that they used here. Just some really interesting. I mean, and when you say it's a lot of silent acts, a lot of acts to music. I mean, you might think it's like a competition show or something like that.
Right.
But there was a lot of variety in it too, though. There were some more traditional Japanese acts. There were some more contemporary and kind of everything in between. So yeah, it was a good time.
That's true. I mean,
there was an illusion act. So
and that illusion was pretty cool.
Yeah.
Have you ever seen that before?
No, it's kind of an amalgamation of a couple of things.
Yeah.
It seemed like there was a little zigzag in there. There was
Mismade, maybe.
Then there was like a head off sort of thing that was built into it. So there were several things. Yeah,
I hadn't seen that before. It looked like it was some homemade contraption that. It was a fooler. It was a good one. But yes, I had everything, including parasols and silks and traditional and a little butterfly that he folded.
Yeah, that was a beautiful act. I enjoyed that one a lot. Yeah.
But the fellow with the beer cups, the red cups.
That was probably a highlight for me. That was I'm looking at his name now here, so I don't mispronounce it. Well. So I don't.
Good luck with this.
Yeah, but it's a Yu Kamahora, I think, and yeah, that was great. That was a.
Was that Yusei? Yusei.
Well,
Yui?
on the program, it's just listed Yu.
You, okay.
You, yeah. YU, and it was really great. I mean, I see in the bio he was at FISM, and he should be. You know, I mean, it was a great act.
It was updated in things in which that these red cups kept appearing and multiplying, and he had a cord between the two, and the cups. He put a ball in one and come out the other.
Yeah, there was a ball, like a billiard ball, but it was not like a ball routine necessarily. Right. But yeah, there was some amazing stuff there.
And just a nice personality, just his expressions and everything.
Fun and engaging.
I would say I think every act got a standing ovation last night.
Yeah, there were many standing ovations, multiple throughout the show. Yeah, it was a good time. And like I said, it was things that I've never seen before. So, things that haven't been to this convention before. So that's a great thing.
The gentleman again, what was his name? Was doing the cards.
Doing the cards?
The playing cards.
Oh, Shinpei
was amazing. First of all, they had a huge screen video over to the side, so he wasn't standing in front of it. So you got to see what he was doing. The card table was over to the side, had good video coverage of all this. But this rainbow deck that he did, starting out with a blank deck, and then producing cards, and you think, okay, well, it's like a Svengali deck, or maybe it's something else. And then he walks out and hands everybody in the front row a stack of cards. So here, take them. Take the cards.
Yes, and amazing things still happen when they're in the spectators' hands. So that's great. Yeah, and I enjoyed his the way that he married his passion for music. He's a classical violinist.
That's true.
And so he
Vivaldi and Liszt.
Married this passion for music. At one point, it was sort of like an assembly routine, except the cards were in the assemblage of like a keyboard. I mean, it was like dark and
black and white
keys.
Yeah,
black and white
ivory,
keys. Yeah, and so that was interesting. Never seen anything like that before. I also really enjoyed the final act, the Yukihiro Katayama, with the glass. Very simple, very elegant, though. It was really pretty.
It was. I was talking with someone about whether that the last act should have been the first act or vice versa. It's kind of hard to tell because the first one was kind of a high-energy thing where the guy came out and he quickly changed into a rock and roll costume and he produced a guitar and all kinds of screamers.
No, I think that was a good opening act.
It was a good opening act. It really kind of wow. Maybe you're right. Then if the last one was more slow and classical with, as you say, a card and just a simple wine glass and it kept appearing and it was beautiful.
Yeah, it was very cool. Yeah,
and elegant.
Yeah. It was just a good show. And you mentioned the butterflies. I mean, I really enjoyed that one as well. That sort of traditional. And I guess that was what was his name? I guess he has taken on. I mean, he wasn't doing Shimada's act, but I guess he owns Shimada's.
I believe so. He
the
studied
rights to
with
Shimada's act or something like that. Because I watched his lecture the other day, and that was very much in that style too.
You're looking through over here.
Yeah, I'm looking through.
Is that him right there?
No, that's the illusionist. That's Shoma.
Okay.
I don't see him here.
But it was a very incredible act, and again, I hope that everyone gets an opportunity somewhere down the road to be able to catch this group again. It was nice that we were all traveling together. I was talking with Mark Holstein, who was a stage manager backstage, and he was saying about the gentleman who spoke English kind of on behalf of the others was the gentleman who did the card act.
Right, the close-up guy.
The close-up guy, that's right. And then afterwards, when they all took a bow, he was the one talking, but he was saying about how that everyone backstage helped each other. I mean, it wasn't just a stage crew cleaning up. Each of the guys who were part of the acts were all cleaning up each other's acts and helping each other. And then whenever he was performing his cards, they all stood reverently and just watching. It's like, this guy is amazing. I mean, they really and they were giving him bows in the backstage and everything, too. They said that they really honored him quite a bit.
Yeah, it is this community, isn't it, that sort of works together and supports each other and that sort of thing, which is a great. That's a great thing.
So after the show was over then last evening, I went downtown. I thought, well, I'll go to the Legion, and instead I stopped by Cerlini's just in time. I got to be one of the last ones to get in the theater, Cerlini Theater, to see David. Was it David Gerard? I believe that was. No, McCreary. David McCreary was performing.
I haven't seen
very,
David Gerard.
yeah, very, very funny. Great guy, great act, and he was a full theater. Apparently, they'd already pre-sold tickets, but some people didn't show up, so I was able to buy a ticket, and so they double booked, and so they got in. Very funny, and the point is, there's just stuff happening all around town.
All around,
you know?
yeah. I didn't go to the Legion. I was about to, and then like at our cabin. I ended up seeing an illusion performed that I'd never seen before. Yeah, so that was kind of
what was that?
Cool.
So that begs the question.
It's a secret. It's a secret.
Come on.
No, I don't know that. I don't know that he wants it said. So
okay.
So,
but it was cool.
It was cool. Yeah.
Is he working on it, or going to present it later, or?
I think it's something that he's working on. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So.
Well, we still have, a full day. There's still a half a day yet left to go. I think we're going to be seeing a lecture then this afternoon that Lance Burton's going to be putting on.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to that.
Yep. And then, of course,
he's going to be talking about his On the Road special, which was, I think, the last of his TV specials. And that's the first time that I saw Lance Burton. It was filmed. He filmed it. It was on the road. He filmed it in Florida and at the Magic Castle and in Kentucky. And I was a sophomore in high school, and my dad got front row tickets.
In Kansas or where?
No, this was in Kentucky.
Kentucky, right.
So he came home because I'm from Kentucky, and he came home to Kentucky, and so that was the first time I ever saw Lance.
Wow, that's a pretty good story then too. And now you're going to get him to talk about it.
To hear him talk about it. I wasn't there the night of the taping. It was the weekend of the taping, though. I think he taped on a Friday night or something. I saw
Very cool.
Sunday matinee, but it was great. It was a great time. So.
Well, Lance, thanks very much. And one last question,
yes.
and this goes back actually to something that happened a while back, and that was the water damage that you and David Sandy had. And some people might be wondering, who are familiar with what happened about just a follow-up, how are things coming with that repair?
Things are...
real briefly, you had
things are going
warehouse.
Well. Yeah, it was a warehouse. It flooded in December of last year because of a pipe burst, a sprinkler system burst. So it's been a lot of back and forth with insurance and that kind of thing. But everything is working out there, and I think we're going to end up building a brand new building just outside of St. Joseph, Missouri, to display collection, to store collection, and there'll be a little theater component there.
Did you lose any illusions that were completely
What?
unsalvageable?
No, we really didn't. We were very fortunate at the end of the day. We were very lucky. We lost some books, but even the books that we lost were minimal, and they were like mass market books. So at the end of the day, things worked out pretty well. We were able to get the illusions that were kind of waterlogged are dried out, and everything is good.
That's great.
Yeah.
All right. Well, great. Thanks for your time, and great talk about the show then last evening then too. So the Magic Word Podcast. That was Lance Rich. Scotty out. As mentioned, we just finished a lecture by Guy Hollingworth, and for those of you who want a little bit more from him, you can go back perhaps and listen to one of the episode we did when we were at the Magi Fest, just I believe it was last year, or no, it was pre-COVID?
Yeah, I think it was pre-COVID, yeah.
Okay, so it would have been, 2019 or something. He was a guest of honor, but he was, again, the lecturer here today, and here he is, Guy Hollingworth. Hey there, Guy.
Hey, how's it going?
Fantastic. Good lecture, as usual. Similar to the one that I'd heard, I really liked watching the different moves and things you were doing.
Thank you.
And teaching. So those are things that are practical we can use,
Well, that was the idea. So I'm kind of in between books at the moment. So my first book's out of print and my second book is not yet out. So I didn't have anything that I could let people take home with them. So I thought I want to just do things that people get some ideas from. So even if they don't remember the whole routine, they can hopefully find some things they can use. So some old things and some new things that hopefully people will be able to get some use out of.
One of the things I really loved as well, among the many things that you were talking about, but also just talk about the Jefferson cups, the fact that those are very organic. You're not looking at something that's proppy.
Yes.
I like that thought about not having proppy magic things.
Yeah, I think that's quite important. I think we often forget as magicians that we use objects that seem really ordinary to us, but they're pretty strange to... And it's not just objects, it's some of the moves we do, some strange false counts or things. Sometimes I think one needs to sort of justify these things or try and find ways of doing things that people can understand what you're doing without having to be magicians. And for me, cups and balls is kind of fine in some ways because you're sort of usually presenting it as a traditional trick. But even so, I just prefer the idea that these are just ordinary objects. And as well as the cups, which, as you say, I use Jefferson cups, which you can just find on eBay or anywhere around the place. The balls I use are just little balls of string, which, again, I think to a member of the audience, it's just like, oh, I get it. It's a ball of string.
That's what it should be. They can relate to that.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, and again, I think that is brilliant because of the way you slow things down. I hadn't really thought about this until you had actually voiced it, and that is of how you're quickly getting to the next move. And you mean you do a 45-second routine before Locke says, oh, they're thinking this hand, so I better not.
Yes.
Yeah.
To me, that was always my problem with cups and balls, was you're typically one ahead, but equally that means you're sort of one behind. So, at any point, if anyone stops to think about it, well, where could that ball be? I always felt very vulnerable. Maybe it was just that
Occam's razors,
Yeah, exactly. I found I was sort of rushing through it, and so the idea behind this routine was to have a routine that you could actually pause and really try and put some effect on really kind of emphasize the effects, and if people want to stop and talk to you, or you're not rushing to get onto the next bit. And that was the plan, the idea behind it.
Yeah, I like that. It's beautiful. I like the idea then organically of using the string rather than something that is going to be other kinds of balls or whatever.
Right.
Balls. It really don't make sense. You're having to describe those things. You have little sweaters for corks or whatever. It's clever. So you make the string. You kind of wind them yourself. And,
Yep.
Okay.
Literally just a little ball of string. I usually use. I tried a few different colours, and just like twine. The problem with twine is it's hard to see against your hand. It's or my hand at least. My hands are that sort of colour. So I use just red string. Just did from a craft store. You get a nice colour and just tie a knot in it, and then tie a few knots around until you've got enough volume that you can kind of wrap it around. And you keep going until you have a ball that's the size you want.
And since you are demonstrating or showing at the beginning the ball of string, where it's coming from, and how you make the smaller balls, that you're not showing that ball how it does fit under there. You're just talking about a ball being the size of an orange.
Yes.
And you're not really relating the two sizes over there. And then when it comes back full circle for that to be a load, absolutely brilliant thinking.
Well, I mean, for me, Tommy Wonder had that great moment where you've seen an object before, and now suddenly it's got under the cup.
Good point.
So there was a sort of thinking there of, I like the idea that people have seen an object, so when it comes under the cup, it's not just necessarily a kind of the trouble is you've got the kind of the twin, like, oh, something has appeared, and then you need to process what it is. So I wonder if that maybe dilutes it a bit. Whereas if it's something that you instantly recognise, then it's like, bam, it's just appeared there. So I like having introduced it before.
Yep, makes a lot of sense. Well, listen, Guy, thank you very much. I appreciate it. Thanks for sharing your time, and I know the listeners will appreciate that too.
Thank you
the
very
Magic
much.
Word Podcast. That was Guy Hollingworth. Scotty out. We have been talking all day and last night about how great the show was with all the Japanese contingent that had come over. And I'm here right now with one who was actually kind of the speaker for them last evening. And the evening was over whenever they were taking their final bow. Shin Fei. Hi there, Shin Fei.
Hello.
It was fantastic. So you
enjoyed it?
Oh, we really enjoyed it. You got standing ovation.
Yeah, I'm so happy, and people is so kind. Yes.
I was going to say, what's your experience here first time?
We all right. Yeah, all of us, actually, honestly enjoyed a lot. It was so, we never forget this memory of this city, its people, and history.
Yes.
It's completely honored. We really feel honored to be here.
And everybody has been friendly to you and everything, and you've just met a lot of people?
Yes, even supermarket.
In the supermarket even, is that right?
Yes, super kind. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, I'm so surprised.
And how, so this was your first convention here in Colon?
Yes, first time, all of us.
And so are you going to be going on then to Magic Live from here?
No, we are going back to my city. No, 3 of them going to
Las Vegas.
Yeah, Las Vegas. But most of us going back.
So just here and back?
Yeah.
How long of a flight is that?
34 hours.
34 hours? Just for a few days and to perform here? Wow.
Yeah.
Sounds like it was well worth it though, right? Worth it? It was worth it?
Yes, of course. Yeah. Even only 1 week or 6 days, only for this we can come here.
Yes.
Because it's so, I never compared any other things.
Have you been working other conventions with this group?
No, this is first time.
First time altogether?
Yeah.
Okay. But you're all friends?
Yeah, of course.
And did you grow up together, or how'd you get to know each other?
Grow up together, because that's just we were friends.
You belong to the same club?
I found some, how to say, I found some groups of the friends. Then I get them together.
You were the one that put this all together?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes.
Were there some people that you were thinking I would like to have but weren't available, or I'm saying when you chose this group, was it a larger group and you had to make it smaller? Or?
No, this is just even make it bigger.
Oh, okay. I'm sure.
Last time I was supposed to be here, 5 of us, and then I added 2 other people, 2 other guys.
Have any of these people, including yourself, competed at FISM?
Yeah, some of them, yeah.
Have they won at FISM? Anything?
I don't remember actually. 1, 2, 3, 4. I don't know. 4. Yeah.
4 of them have won.
But I'm sure one guy got prize. Yeah. Yes.
When is the Asian finals going to be? We're having North Americans next year.
Yeah.
And so in Dallas.
I hear that.
Yeah.
I hear that. Yes, it must be super beautiful.
We're excited for this.
Yes. Yeah. I've never been there, but yeah, it's someday. I really want to go.
Well, Mike Miller is hoping to get you guys to come back perhaps for next year.
Great.
Fingers crossed. I'd love to have all of you, perform in Texas.
If it comes true, it's very good.
Yeah.
Everybody will be super happy.
We are going to be a combined convention with the SAM and with the North American Championships.
Great. That's nice.
Yeah.
Sounds great.
Yeah. So we'll see how that works out. Fingers crossed.
Thank you. You're very welcome.
Well, this is a beautiful act. Thank you very much for coming all this way and for this memory we all
pleasure.
have.
It was super honored. We feel really honored.
Did you enjoy the Legion Hall at night going? And,
Yes, of course.
Did you do some magic for some of the people there?
Actually, yes, yeah. And of course, they are super kind. So,
yeah, they're very nice people. Well, thank you very much.
Yeah,
Appreciate
you are
it.
very welcome. Thank you for having an interview.
You're welcome. And it's, pronounce it again?
Shimpei.
Shimpei. Okay. Yeah. It's over the Magic Word Podcast. That was Shimpei. Scotty out. We just finished this afternoon a talk by Lance Burton and Bill Smith, who were talking about a television show they had from 2000. And it was kind of interesting to hear the behind the scenes and when they filmed all that and everything. But speaking of behind the scenes, I kind of wanted to also speak with someone who is kind of here all the time. In fact, he is a resident, both, I guess, dual citizenship of Florida and of Colon, Michigan. Here he is, Jerry Costello, who is also a friend of the Magic Word. Hey, Jerry.
Hi, Scott. How you doing?
Fantastic. Thank you again for hosting this party. And how are you enjoying this?
Well, thanks for coming and enjoying it with us, with Julie and myself. She does a lot of work, so all the credit goes to her.
And you have been living here for how long? How long?
We've had a place here since 30 years, 1993, and since I retired in 21, we're here in full summers.
And you're a dentist, right?
Anesthesiologist, critical care guy.
Okay.
Yeah. And then
in Sarasota or
south of there, Punta Gorda, about an hour south.
Okay.
People that may know some magicians from before. Danny Tong lives across the river from me. Bill Malone's down in Naples. So there's a few guys around. But yeah, we used to just be weekenders here. So we spent about 3 days a week here for 30 years, and now we're here 4 months of the year in the summer.
So obviously you came up here then during Magic Week, and that's what kind of you found out what it's like.
We started out renting insufferable cottages, and then Julie was kind enough to say, I want to buy that house. So one convention we ended up buying a house. Biggest purchase ever at a Magic convention, I think.
Yeah, you went to a Magic convention and came back with a house.
Yeah, that's what happened. So no, but we've been here. This is our 28th party. Mm-hmm. So we used to do it 2 days, Friday and Saturday, and it kind of evolved itself into a Saturday afternoon kind of get-together within the get-together.
Yeah, and kind of almost thanks for being here, but also sayonara, because it's the last day.
Yeah, well, tomorrow in the afternoon it's remarkably empty.
I would imagine so.
Back to me and Greg and BJ and a few other guys.
Yep. Because, tonight everything will be over, and I guess tomorrow is kind of like after Mardi Gras. Whenever they clear the streets, they'll be sweeping all the cards and everything off the streets.
And they'll get them up by noon, probably.
Yep,
It'll look back to normal.
And everybody's gone, and so then it's kind of back to the sleepy town then for a while.
Yep,
now, how many months out of the year do you actually live here? Then?
So we're 4 months a year here. We get up here around June 1st, and we leave back down there about October 1st. Last year, we had a little event down there called Hurricane, so that kind of screwed up our plans a little bit. But other than that, we're doing good.
And when you bought this, you're not the only one who has probably been enticed to come up here and live full-time. I'm not talking about living full-time in the cemetery. I'm talking about
We've
buying
got
a
our
house.
plots.
Yeah, me too. But as far as like buying a house, have you had some other neighbors or friends who have come and said, "I love it here"? I mean, I know Derek Kennedy was talking about that for a while.
He's talked about wanting to move up. There's been a few other people, but there really aren't a lot of magic people up here.
Okay.
It's just like I said, I'm probably the only quote lay guy. You got the Sterlinis. Keith Stickley moved here from Detroit, so he's on the outskirts of town. But other than that, we get a lot of visitors.
Yeah.
So we do get a lot of visitors, but other than that, we have had a few transplants down to Florida from here. So Carl from downtown, probably talked to Carl, the pizza guy.
Yeah.
So he bought a house down in Florida around the corner from us and stuff. So a lot of people come down there.
Yeah, it's kind of funny because here we started this the 4 days of reporting, talking with Carl Thorne.
Oh,
now
okay.
we're kind of almost rounding it up, because he was and is a major person here in town.
Right.
Involved in so much with city council and everything.
Yep. He said he wanted to be closer than here, so he's a half a mile here and 4/10.
Now, did you buy a boat here, or did you buy a boat and then haul it from Florida? Or
No, we have one. We have a boat here and a jet ski, pontoon and a jet ski, and then I have a tournament ski boat. I used to ski, but gave that up a little bit ago.
do you leave that here, or do you haul that back?
And then we have two boats down there.
Okay.
So we're boaters,
Yeah.
like the water. We're on the water down there. It's really nice. And then, like you can tell, the lake here it's not only a recreational thing; it's the economic engine for town.
Oh yeah, it's a big thing because a lot of people from Chicago just come over for the weekend, right?
Absolutely, and you've seen them at the shows. You've seen them when you've been downtown. Yeah, it's the lifeblood of the community, really.
And whenever we do have the evening shows, they're packed. Gymnasium is packed, and most of them are just, I guess, locals who have come in for the weekend.
And I think a lot of them are. Well, the town kind of doubles or almost triples depending on the weekend in size. And I think a large component of the people that go to the shows are those people.
And I was looking online for Google to see what the population is, and I think it's about 1,700 from what I've heard.
Yeah, so. And then it goes. I bet it's up over 4,000. Sometimes on the holiday weekends, 3,000 most weekends.
Now, this is Lake Palmer that we're
Palmer
on
Lake.
Okay, Palmer Lake.
And then there's Long Lake just out of town north, and then Sturgeon Lake on the south side, which is where the Blackstones kind of started.
Blackstone Island and all that.
Yeah, it's technically it's an oxbow of the river. It's not really a lake. It's part of the St. Joe River.
Okay.
River comes in on one end, it's real wide there, and then it goes out on the other end.
Now, I think I heard you saying a couple days ago about how long it takes you to kind of take a lazy ride, a boat ride around about an hour.
Yeah, we usually, so Carl, myself, Tim Taylor, who's another guy in town, Brent, Frank, a few of us, we tend to meet up at night on somebody's boat. We figure about an hour and a half, go around at night and review the day. Yeah, great sunsets.
Oh, yeah.
And the stars up here are amazing. At night, so we usually
you have no light pollution.
No, none at all. And a couple guys got those satellite trackers on their phones, so we watch all that. It's beautiful.
Yeah, it's paradise up here.
Yeah, it really is. It's really a great place. I'm so blessed.
Well, when you go back to Florida, do you feel like which one do you kind of feel like you're going home to?
Well, Florida's home. We started there. We bought our first house in Florida and everything. But when it gets to be October up here, it's kind of time for us softies to get out. You know, when it starts dropping below 40 at night, I'm ready to get out. And then in the spring, it starts getting nice. It's nice in June.
Well, they have snow and ice up here, so you have someone, I guess, takes care of this during the winter, or do you rent it out?
Yeah, no, we leave it here. My daughters come up occasionally. Neighbors will check it out. So it just kind of stays there. I came up once.
Okay.
So I had to do a little teaching around here in my previous career, so...
And over the years that you have been attending, I know last night's show was amazing, and you got some standing ovations, but is there something that stands out this year, perhaps, or other years that it's like, oh man, there was once such and such happened? Or... So
it's a little... So I've been coming, 35 years now, and we used to do the close-up at my house.
Really?
Abbott's close-up. The lectures were at the...
Abbott's at Costello's.
Yeah, Abbott's at Costello's. The lectures were at the factory, and all the sessions and everything were here. So we did that for over 30 years, and so saw a lot of great close-up people, a lot of U.S. people, a lot of Europeans. Hank and I Hank Morehouse, the great Hank Morehouse. We used to work on that together, and then John Luca and I ended up doing it when Hank passed. But there's been so much happening here. But for me, it's all about the friends. Sure. It's all getting together with people. So any memory that I would have would really be probably isolated memories of just doing something with friends.
Yeah.
I will say last night I was unbelievably touched by the reverence of the Japanese group that was here for Magic. They really, really, really loved Magic, and they loved being able to be part of Colon. You could tell to them how important it was.
I was speaking with one of them just earlier who said, I think it was like 36 hours to get here, and they just came here for this and they're flying back. I mean, it's not like they're going on a Magic Live or anything.
Yeah, one guy said he had to go back to work. He was working in Japan. He had to go to work on Monday.
Wow.
So.
Wow. Yeah, what a commitment that was,
yeah.
or is, Well, Jerry, thanks again for all that you have done and continue to do, and will be doing into the future for another 36 years or more.
We'll be here next year. Show up.
You guys need to come on down.
All right.
So for the Magic Word Podcast, that was Jerry Costello. Scotty out. So we were just talking then with Jerry Costello a moment ago, and we were here at his party. And among the people who were here, we talked last year with an up-and-coming young lady, and she's here then again this year. Here she is, Brynn Cummings. Hey there, Brynn.
Hello.
And so last year we were talking to you about your experience over on America's Got Talent, and you continued, I guess, here. So how are things going?
It is
you
going.
Having fun?
Yeah, it was so much fun. It's going great. So, yeah.
And Penelope, right, is
yep.
the okay.
Yep.
And so you are now 12?
Yes.
Okay, good. And so, and how old is Penelope?
4.
Okay.
4.
And I really like the interaction that you have with her. And so, because there are not a lot of female vent figures, I guess, that I see that have such a positive role model, that Penelope has. So tell her hello for me when you get to see her then again. And so, again, I saw you on the stage the other night, and I thought, oh, that's great seeing Brynn again and back here. So you're working with America's Got Talent, and they had moved forward, and so you're waiting and excited about the next round?
Yes.
And you're working on some new material?
So, yes. Right now, we're waiting to know if we're in the next round of AGT right now.
Mm-hmm. Do you know when you're going to be having that next round?
In like 1.5 weeks, AGT is going to announce the live show acts list. Mm-hmm. So we'll find out after then.
Now, live show access, does that mean that people will be voting from the public then at
Yes.
that point? That's not the judges?
Yes.
Okay. So we can all kind of give you 10 points, 10 votes, right?
Yeah.
Okay. And where will that be performed? Where are they shooting this? Not Las Vegas, is it? Or do you know?
It's in Pasadena, California.
Oh, okay.
So it's right next to LA.
Yeah. So what was your experience like when you were getting ready? Did they call you and you thought, I'll go and audition? Your mom and dad say that was what you should do, or what do you think?
I mean, it was...
You were ready?
Yeah.
You sent in a video?
Yeah. I mean, we sent in a video, and then they just chose out of the 75,000 people.
75,000, and you got chosen. Yeah. Man, how did that make you feel? I mean, did you cry just a little bit?
Yeah.
And yell?
Just keeping that a secret for so long.
Yeah. That was like...
Oh, that's right, because all your friends, So what about that whenever, like, at school? I mean, like, you're a star now, among your friends.
So it was actually funny because we knew we were going to be on the episode like a week before the episode aired. So people at school knew that I was going to be on, but my episode didn't air until the week school got out. Mm-hmm. So I was out of school when my episode aired. So we haven't really been to school to know.
Okay. So, so when you are schooled, are you homeschooled a little bit then too? Or are you
No.
Okay.
No, I'm public school.
And where do you live?
Pawpaw, Michigan.
Okay. And so, is it a very small school that you're in, or how many students do you have?
I'd say it's a pretty
About
small.
150 in the grade.
Yeah, that's a pretty small school, compared to some of the mega schools and everything then as well. And so, is this something, I believe I asked you this last year, but is this something you really want to pursue? Do you enjoy ventriloquism, or you want to?
Yeah, I feel like it could definitely be like a job in the future.
You've been inspired. Have you met Terry Fader?
Yes, we have.
And?
Darcy Lynn.
Yes.
And
what do they like, and what do they encourage you?
so nice. They are like some of the nicest people I've ever met.
Well,
Yeah.
they've written to you on Facebook.
They've written on Facebook.
They've shared
my
post,
post.
and Darcy has reached out privately and written to her.
Yeah.
Yep.
Man, that's got to feel pretty special.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because she's doing this full time, and she was on, I believe, America's Got Talent also. Was she on with you then, too, or no?
She was on, when Brynn was
She was
7 years
season
old.
12.
Yeah, she was season 12.
Yeah,
we're
now
now
we're
in
in
18.
18.
Yeah.
Okay.
She just graduated high school.
Right. And so is your long-term goal or hope that you're going to be working, like traveling, or having a residency, kind of like what Terry Fader has, or
Probably like a residency, I'd say.
taking care of your mom and dad?
Yeah.
Like a residency. Now, have you been to Las Vegas before?
Yes, we have.
And what is your thought or experience about, an adult city?
It was pretty fun. We saw Terry, we saw David Copperfield's. I think those are all the shows we went to, but yeah.
Did you see Shin Lim?
We did not see Shin Lim.
Okay.
It was right after COVID.
It was right after. He
okay.
wasn't open.
Okay. Because I know at the Luxor they've got an AGT show, and so have you been invited by them to come and see the show, or you just have to be out there on your own?
I think you have to be on your own.
Okay.
I mean, I want to go and see like Celia Munoz and them.
Sure.
Yeah.
Sure. Well, it sounds so exciting. You have so much, again, ahead of you right now, and the season runs through, I think, let's see, here we are in August, so that's going to be into September? When they're
The end of September is the finale.
Okay, and then the finale.
Yeah.
Well, we wish you the best. And we're all pulling for you, and everybody who's listening out there, be sure and give her all 10 of your points when they have the access. That'd be great.
Thanks.
So, with the Magic Word Podcast, that was Brynn Cummings. Scotty out. As we are mixing and mingling with other celebrities over here, like we did just with Brynn Cummings, here's someone else you might have seen on TV from time to time, Franz Harrary. Hey, Franz.
Wow, it's a delight to be here. This is quite the soiree.
It is kind of a lot of fun, and the weather is perfect. It's a little bit overcast, looks like it's going to rain, but it's nice weather up here.
You know
that
that
you're from Michigan, you know that better.
You realize we're old. We're at a freaking magic convention, and we're talking about the weather.
Should we be talking about double lifts and things?
Yeah, we can do that. Yeah.
Or in your case, we can talk
Yeah.
about
The percentage
chip
of
over
people-
box.
There you go.
Chop.
How many magicians covered in barbecue sauce? Yeah.
That's right. It's kind of hard
Yeah.
to. Well, let me wash my hands, and then I'll get a deck of cards.
That's it.
Kind of a thing.
These cards are mocked.
Where
They're
are
a mess.
you? Where are you going from here?
Well, I've got a little place I grew up in near Ann Arbor, Michigan, that my folks' cottage on the lake, and then I'm going to drive to Orlando. So a cross-country trip, eat my way all
With
the
a
way
van
south.
or just in a car?
I'm just in my car.
You're not hauling like equipment then? Or?
No. I just love to drive, and I don't get the opportunity.
Well, brother,
So-
I'm with you. I love driving. I drove. I drove Walter Blaney's dogs after he
Right,
passed,
right.
up to Michigan to give him to Shambagonia from Houston and back.
Right.
After my wife passed, I drove from Houston up to Lansing, Michigan. It's like, I like to drive. I'm with you.
I'm with you, and you got to stop at every stupid little rest stop. Plus, on your way down, you can kind of sample all the flavors of racism, so that's fun.
Well, when I was a kid, I always wanted to stop like at Stuckey's or see the largest
Now
bottle of
there's
wine, but my dad
Buc-ee's.
said no.
Buc-ee's.
But
Are you familiar with
yes.
Buc-ee's?
So now, hold on.
May I please have your...
Well, we just took a quick break over there to do a little song and dance. And happy birthday to Lynn Ratty. He just turned 70.
70, yeah. I don't
70.
think
It
wants
says
you to
right,
know
well, it
that.
says right on the cake. Why not?
There you go.
There you go.
It's out there. Well, once it's on the cake, then it's
Then
kind
it's
of
official.
Yeah.
That's right. That's right. So we were just saying before that you are going to be
Buc-ee's. Talking about Buc-ee's.
That
Like,
is,
it's like
no, they got them every
Disneyland.
place too. It's
Yeah.
not just in Texas anymore.
No, it's like Disneyland with barbecue and gasoline.
Yeah. Yeah, and
So-
clean restrooms.
That's right. And really,
That's what they
isn't
really
that what it's
capitalize
all
on.
about. That's
Yeah.
right. Now, I'm going to Orlando just because I got to meet my pool guy and the gardener and just kind of take care of that. And then I have to go back to LA because I'm doing actually a project, for money. So
Okay, yeah, that's for your real job.
yeah.
Have you been traveling overseas? You've been over the Orient?
I've been overseas, but just really for the last couple of months, things are back in action in China. It's been pretty dead there for a while, but now the whole country is
No pun intended
eager.
about their COVID situation. But yeah.
Oh, yeah. Well, we were there when it all went down.
In 2020.
I had a show running in San Diego with Al Ullman. Al the Only.
Al
Oh,
the
God
Only.
forbid. We'll erase all that. With Al the Only, I had a show running in San Diego. We opened January of 2020, ran for 4 days, and then the government shut us down. And so the show is frozen. In fact, it is still frozen.
Your equipment is over there.
All the equipment,
Oh my God.
everything, sound, light, video, staging. It's about $8 million worth of stuff. So now that the country is basically alive again, the company wants to take and move it to another city in China.
Mm-hmm.
So that's what it's all about right now, is retooling and remounting that. Hey,
Wow.
this is it.
Wow. So, and that's going to be when you think you're going to be getting back over there? Later this year or
Well,
next year?
I was there like 2 weeks ago.
Yeah.
So I will be there again in a couple of weeks. Yeah, I mean we're in it right now. Yeah, it's all coming down right now.
Now, when you're doing that, I remember you saying before that you work in these big stadiums where there are like 70,000 people.
Not 70, okay. 30,000.
Well, still, okay. It was huge.
Yeah, up there.
More than a basketball stadium, you know.
But what's weird is I have found that anything more than 5,000 people becomes a blur. Because after 5,000 people, they're no longer watching the stage, they're watching all of the LED.
Oh.
So it becomes more as though you're producing a television show that's being watched by a live audience than even a stage show. You have to be equally concerned, if not more concerned, about the cameras as you are about the staging and focus on the stage.
Sure.
So it's a whole weird, different game. You know?
And you have so many like intelligent lights and everything else. I mean, that's where the show is. And I mean, it's on TV. It pops even more, so they're probably paying more attention to the IMAX.
Well, it's never, as you know, as a magician, it's never as powerful if you can't see it live with your own eyeballs. So the first 5,000 always get the better experience, but economically it doesn't make sense because the cost of production is so stupid nowadays. So you try to do your best, but it's this balance. It's finding an equilibrium, how to create the best possible product for as many people as possible, you know.
Right. Well, a question I have always had, and I haven't had a chance to ask you, was working surrounded. I mean, when you are working in some of these stadiums.
No, I can't do. Oh, I hate surrounded. I've done like halftime shows, like the Rose Bowl, the Orange Bowl, stuff like that. So I've done those surrounded, but it sucks. It sucks so bad. Oh, I hate it. You know,
trying to play to everybody, you kind of walk around.
You can't win. You just can't win. And somebody's going to get screwed. Okay. So the only stuff I've done surrounded is really sporting events. It's for my own show, or even for any show that I'm producing. I try to keep everybody to like 100 degrees
180,
at the most. 180 is pretty brutal too, because then you got people on the side of you.
Yeah,
so,
that's right, side angles.
Sort of 100 degrees is sort of the sweet spot.
Aside from Zigzag, I cannot think of maybe Metamorphosis. Then you got people looking down, but there are very few that you can do surrounded.
Well, you need to. I'm going to say most of my stuff when I go into the design process, I try to be ready to go surrounded.
Like Slicer or something.
Yeah, not so much because you will be working surrounded, but because sometimes you're in a hostile environment and you don't know who's operating cameras or who's directing, and you could try to get screwed with. So the more bulletproof you can be, the better.
Yeah.
So it's a game. It's a game of how much money do you spend trying to protect yourself.
Yeah.
It's a security blanket,
And in that case, when you build in a quote, do you build in a quote for those kinds of things, and then it might blow out of control, and you go back to them and say, hey, look, it's going to cost a little bit more than I thought? Or
Well, the stuff... Okay, if we're talking about my show, about 85% of my show is surrounded, but I work on a proscenium stage. It just happens to be in an arena or wherever. So I really don't worry about that. Like right now, I can't say the name of the artist, but I'm working on a pop concert right now. I'd love to say, but I can't, because then you'll know she's doing magic. Or now you know it's a woman anyway.
Yeah.
But you let them know that this is what you can do, and it's going to cost you this amount of money. If you want this to work surrounded, basically you're producing 3 illusions at the same time. You're doing one for the audience, and then 2 more to basically make invisible whatever it is you're going to do to hide your method.
In your mind,
my mind, it's 3 illusions. It's the one for the audience, and then the invisibility, creating the invisibility of the methodology for 2 more audiences.
Right.
But with that costs money. So you explain, and almost always in concerts, they don't care, because it's not a magic show.
Right.
So if 20% of the audience or 10% get it, doesn't matter.
Yeah.
It's just about
numbers.
Really. If you look at the right now, Taylor Swift is out. She doesn't do magic, but some great effects. The audience knows how it works. Doesn't matter, just because it's freaking cool. So it's a different philosophy going into into that market.
And during COVID, you and I were both doing shows, and that was so much fun. You were working with John Pullum. It was always nice to have someone who could kind of push the buttons and pull the switches and be on stage. And I was a one-man show. I loved watching your show.
Oh, you need to find yourself a man-child voice servant. You want to do just the fun part. That's what I realized.
Yeah, you were having fun.
I don't want to worry about
John
all
was
the
having
technical
fun, though,
stuff.
too.
Yeah. Well, John got really good.
Yeah.
So now he's doing it. Now you got to see John on TikTok. He does this series where he's like a sad office worker in his cubicle.
Kind of like Dilbert, the
like
cartoon
Dilbert.
thing?
He's
Okay.
like a bitter Dilbert in a cubicle and cooking. So it's a cooking show in 15-second intervals.
Okay.
From
like on a hot plate or something? Or
not even that. I think he
Okay.
like short circuits, office equipment, and it's something to see. Yeah. This would be better if I could remember the name of it, but
Just look up John Pullum and
yeah,
and
probably
TikTok.
work. Yeah, go to John Pullum in general, and I'm sure it's all over there.
I'm sure that you're right. Well, again, sound like you had a lot of projects and everything that's going to be going. Have you worked at Magic Castle recently? Anytime this year?
My last appearance on stage at the castle was 2001.
Okay.
So 22 years ago?
Yeah, it's been a while.
Yeah, I woke up one morning and realized that the amount of money that I was spending to play the castle, I could not play the castle and just give everyone in the audience $20. Say, here's a $20 bill.
Show.
Go out there, tell them you saw the show, tell them it was good, and it would be less hassle,
That is interesting. I understand. Well, the size of the show you do and everything, I mean, it's kind of hard to bring that down. You're not doing a library show or anything,
But, the castle's
birthday
great 'cause
parties.
that's where you show off to your friends.
Yeah,
I
sure.
think not the last thing, but close to it, was I have a couple planes, so I made one of the small planes appear on the castle. Mine is one of the wings, but you couldn't see that because the place is so small. But all that is just ego. When it comes to that, you got to stop and look in the mirror and go, what am I doing this for? How narcissistic am I really?
You touched on an interesting point. I'm not going to keep you too much longer here, and that has to do with a lot of the money that we spend to do shows, and people don't factor in all of the costs that
Sure.
of your gasoline and your marketing and everything else
Sure.
that you may not even think about necessarily.
Insurance, liability insurance, workers' comp,
Yep.
yada, 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 maintenance.
And you think, okay, I'm going to charge, and it may sound like a lot, but
Yeah.
it gets eaten up, and you're actually losing money when you stop and think about it.
For us, the last time we played the castle cost us about $20K.
Wow.
So $20K, and I think the castle at that time paid about $1,500. So it took a little bit of a loss on that,
Just a wee bit. Yeah.
But unless you're working with your friends and family and they're working for free, you got to pay people. And even if you got your friends working for free, you can do that once, twice, maybe.
It's kind of fun, but you want that to look good though. Also, you want to be in your best, and then you got friends and family, and they're they're doing it just half-heartedly. But I mean, they want you to be successful, but still, you want to put on the best show.
Yeah, and I want to play the castle. I've got a home. I live in LA, 7 minutes from the castle. It's right there. So I want to do.
You need to learn a card trick.
I
go
should.
to the close-up room,
Oh my God, I have no skills from the wrist down. So it'll happen. I got to convince my wife that it's time to throw away a lot of money from my ego.
Throw some money for ego. There you go. Well, Franz, always good talking to you.
Absolutely, been a pleasure. And hey, I think it's really cool that you're doing this now, man on the street style. It's great. You need to really appreciate this. You have to understand, as we've been doing this, it has been a constant flow of named magicians like Matt King, and I think Lance Burton was here, and Mike Caveney, and they're all walking around in their shorts, covered in condiments, and it's just a wonderful thing here. And the fact that you can bring all this to life through your podcast, power to you.
Thank you, Franz. You're a good buddy. Appreciate that.
Pleasure's mine.
And so for the Magic Word Podcast, that was Franz Harrary, Scotty. Time for the awards. And first of all, the Crandall Award for Comedy went to Pat Hazel.
We will give away the Jack Gwynn Award for Excellence in Presentation. The Jack Gwynn Award for Excellence in Presentation at the 85th Annual Abbott Magic Get Together 2023. Took us 3 years to get him here, but it's going to Guy Hollingworth.
Congratulations.
Thank you so much for waiting. Thank you. That's really kind. I'm glad I finally made it. Thanks a lot.
Yeah.
Finally, we have the Bill Baird and Neil Foster Manipulation Award. And this one was hard to decide, let me tell you. However, I think sometimes bigger is better. So Luis Manuel.
Congratulations.
And now we'll turn over the chair, or however you want to do it.
Turn over.
Here, I'll let you stand on the chair. Now back, Ballman. As many of you know, my dad was a professional magician, but he also worked with the stage crew for many years, making sure that the lights got up every year, making sure everything functioned properly, and this award is for those people that have gone above and beyond doing things for Abbott. So this year goes to a gentleman that's been on the stage crew for quite a while, and actually traveled with my dad for a year, and it goes to Jeff Boyer. Thank you.
Yeah.
Woo! Say
Jeff.
Also, there's another important person that we have to thank, because if you've enjoyed the shows, it's all because of the hard work of the man standing right there. Granted, he has terrible taste in football teams, but
Mike Miller.
Mike Miller, everybody. Thanks for coming out, guys.
And there we go. That kind of puts a wrap on this year's 85th Abbott's Get Together 2023.
July 31, August 1, 2, and 3.
What are the dates again?
July 31st, August 1, 2, and 3 of 2024.
BJ Mallen.
See you in my colon.
It's from the 85th. That was fun. This is Scotty out.